Welcome back. Last time we got into a bit of Python, went through some information about Python and why you should use it, then we downloaded idle to our computers. And while for today you won't be able to control Raspberry Pi with idle on your computer, we will just use idle as already downloaded on the Raspbian image of Raspberry Pi. The benefit of having it on your computer is to be able to code in a situation where you don't have your Pi with you or want to do something else. In today's video, we're going over GPIO control for Raspberry Pi, and we'll see our code run by both the shell and turning on an LED. If for some reason your Pi does not have idle installed, I have instructions in the description along with some other useful links. Now we are going to write some code and start to learn Python syntax and logic. The reason I'm using Raspberry Pi over an Arduino is that Arduino Unos don't have the memory required to run Python, and it's a lot easier to just use a Pi, and lets you do a lot more things than Arduino can't do. Once you finish setting up your Raspberry Pi, you'll be loaded into a regular desktop. Idle should already be installed, so to get to there, we'll go to the top left, we're going to Programming, and we're going to go to Python 3 idle. You don't want to use Python 2 idle because there's going to be some syntax differences, so make sure you're using Python 3. Once it loads up, you want to go directly over to File, New File, and you'll load into a blank sheet. Now we're going to go through each step of the file. In the first two lines of the file, we're importing two libraries. We're importing the rpi.gpio library, so the Raspberry Pi can communicate with idle. And then we're importing the time library, so we can set delays. The RPI library lets you set the mode of what pins you're going to use. You can either use the BCM mode or the board mode. The difference is that the board mode is the physical pins on the Raspberry Pi, and the BCM is what the chip sees. If we go over here, you're going to use BCM 4 in this example, but if you want to use the board number, it would be 7. We're going to set the warnings to false because when you use a pin that's already in use, it will give you a warning. But this won't be a problem for us. Here we have a simple variable. We're going to name our variable LED, and we're going to set that to 4. This would be 7 if you're using the board set mode, but we're using BCM, so it's going to be 4. First, we got to set up the GPIO. If you didn't already know, GPI stands for General Purpose Input and Output. So we can set an input or an output, but nothing in between. This is similar to the digital pins on your Arduino. So we want this set to an output, so to GPIO.setup, LED, which is the pin, and then we're going to set it to an output. Below it, we have two functions, turn LED on and turn LED off. When you're naming functions in Python, you do def and then the name of the function. You want your functions to be clear and concise, so turn LED on, just right to the point. In this function, we're going to be setting the output to high, and then printing that the LED is turned on. It's always good to put prints in your functions, so when you look back in the shell, you'll know what function it's going through, instead of just seeing a blank screen. Same thing for this, we're setting it to low, and telling that it's turned off. So after you're done running this file, you'll notice that nothing happens. That's because we didn't actually call the functions. So first we're going to set the LED on. We're going to wait 1 second, then we're going to turn it off. Let's run the code. If it didn't work, or you had issues, double check your wiring. The long end of the LED is the cathode, and should be wired to the GPIO pin, and the short side is the anode, and should be wired to ground. That is it for this video. In the next video, we'll use the same logic we learned today, but apply it to motors instead, and go over PWMs as we want to control the speed of the motors.